Hey, this is Andre de Ruyter's Truth to Power, 5 business things that we can talk about that I learned from his book in one take. With a little side note reminder to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So, business thing that I learned. Number 1. I want you to imagine that you are going to be climbing Mount Everest. I want you to imagine that you're going to be doing it blindfolded, with your hands tied behind your back, and with your climbing team, your Sherpas, everybody working with you, actively pushing you down the mountain, trying to get you to not climb the mountain. Because that's what anybody would have to be dealing with if they were to go and try to fix a gigantic company problem tied up with economics and government. And economics and government are not things that I'm going to be talking about on this channel. We're just focusing on business. But that is the kind of problem that somebody would have to fix. And so business lesson number 1 is optimism. You have to have optimism. You have to believe that the impossible can be achieved. If it can't be achieved, then why are we even here? This is a channel for business-minded, optimistic people. So you have to believe that there's a solution, and if you can't immediately see it, just know that that solution will be there. Okay, number 2, business lesson. This leads to now the CEO position had to be met in some way, shape, or form, and the person applying for that position needed to wow the judges or the board. The criteria was ridiculous. You need to show that you have a good plan and that you need to wow your audience. And that's the biggest lesson that I learned when he went for interviewing for the position. And I can equate that to a couple of other things that I've done in my personal life where I went above and beyond to get something that I wanted. You have to have all of your bases covered. You have to know exactly what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, and you have to envision that for yourself and envision that for that team. If you can't envision that, it's never going to happen. And figure out how to throw in the sprinkles and the cherry on top. Wow your audience. That's the biggest business boost that you can possibly give to any single person or any single client. So that was business lesson number 2. On to business lesson number, I'm running out of fingers, but 3. On to business lesson number 3. In line with what I learned from this book is also tenacity. You have to be tenacious. You have to be a very good problem solver and a problem thinker, a solution finder. De Ruyter dealt with so many different issues in this book. Issues unfathomable, beyond comprehension. To have to untangle a gigantic knot of rope is ridiculous. And this was the task that the CEO of Eskom had to be able to do. So you have to be tenacious. And sometimes the answers are literally just about putting your boots on the ground, which is point number 4. I'm really running out of fingers here. Point number 4 is a de Ruyter-ism. Put your boots on the ground. You cannot be the executive all high and mighty with your ego sitting in an office chair in an office somewhere when everything is falling to pieces. You have to be the person who's willing to go down and see what is actually happening on a in-person, at the venue, at the place, nature. You have to be able to put your boots down on the ground because that's where the problems lie. Unfortunately, de Ruyter dealt with so many different complex issues with morale, team morale, at various different levels of the Eskom company, from the lowest level to all the way up to management. It's a big problem to have to try and fix. But one of the best things that you can do is let people know that you are trying to solve the problem and that you want things to be better. Which leads me to final point, number 5. You have to be a servant leader. Leaders eat last. And that was very apt in this book, where there was a literal event that took place where everybody was gathering up for food for a team meeting, and nobody would start eating. And when he asked the employees, why is that the case? It's because they said, no, sir, you have to eat first. And that's not how leadership is done. You have to be a servant leader. You have to show people the reasons why you are doing things. You have to attach value to your organization. You have to know the goals of where you are leading your ship. And you have to let your crew know that that's the direction that you are planning on steering them. So many organizations get this wrong. They come in with the whip mentality, with the I'm right because I have the biggest ego, and you're wrong because you work for me and you get a salary. And no surprises, those companies are not innovative. They don't move forward. They, in some cases, they die, or in some cases, they just remain stagnant, and they churn and burn their employees. Those kind of organizations have no hope. So you have to show your people. Yeah, that's it. You have to show your people where you are steering them. And it's also okay if employees come and go, because just because they are in your organization does not necessarily mean that they are literally yours. You have to empower your people, and you have to be the kind of employee that realizes that if my star people leave, they are going to leave, and I hope that it's on good terms, and I hope that through being in my organization, they have grown and they've become better. That's the kind of ethos that I like in Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad books, and in his company and how he leads his company. So I liked that De Ruyter also has the servant leadership approach. And there we go. We're done. One take.